I'm super excited about this video because it's about my favoriteest topic in the world, marriage. So in this video, we're going to try and decode what is the secret ingredient behind a good marriage or even a long-term relationship, but for the purpose of this video, we'll talk about marriage. And according to me, there are four secret sauces that make a good marriage or that make a marriage successful. And I'm basing this on observation and also on experience. I've been married for nearly 24 years. So without much delay, let's dive right in. This is Deepika saying you're watching She Means Business. And my first secret sauce to a good marriage is really something that we all overlook and we take for granted and we don't give much importance to, and it is romance. I am so tired of hearing people say that after marriage life takes over and children take over and romance goes out of the window. Romance doesn't go out of the window. You throw romance out of the window. And there are two reasons for this. The first is that after some time, romance becomes hard work. It doesn't come easy. Because life takes over, there are expenses to be met, there are everyday worries, there are work stresses, there are of course children and their stresses, and romance doesn't come easy anymore, at least not the way it used to when you started the relationship or when the marriage was new. Romance then was very easy because it was a different time and a different era, and you were getting to know each other. Everything was so exciting, everything was so new, so romance came easy. It was the thing that you did to get to know each other. But now, after you've gotten to know each other and after you've settled down, romance becomes hard work. Finding time for romance becomes hard work, and it's a lot of effort. And you also begin to wonder why, So because romance becomes hard work and romance takes a lot of effort, it begins to take a backseat. And that is really not okay. Even after, it doesn't matter how long you've been married, you have to find time for romance. Of course, it will be effort. Of course, it will be hard work. It will not be as easy as it was initially when you just were getting to know each other. But you have to make the time for it and you have to do the hard work for it. The second reason I think why romance goes out of the window, as they say, is that you've now gotten to know the person. So you're in a comfort zone, it's comfortable, you know each other very well, you know each other's quirks, and so you fall into this trap of comfort and you feel that now you don't need to make an effort with this person. Right? Life in any case is an effort, expenses are an effort, everyday fights are an effort. So why do you have to make an effort with this person? Because you're now comfortable with them, which is also a good thing. I am not saying that being comfortable with this person or falling, into a comfortable zone with your partner is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but there has to be time for romance because otherwise the relationship will become very dull. It will just become like a very comfortable, dull, happy perhaps relationship, but without the spark that romance brings to it, right? So these are the two reasons, which is it becomes hard work, and also because you become very comfortable with the person, that romance goes out of the window. But you need to find time for romance, and there are many things that you can do to find time for romance. One, of course, is to find time with each other, which is away from work discussions and children and family and whatever, right? So dates, you have to make the effort to find time for dates, which are only about the two of you, going out to a new restaurant, trying something new, dressing up and going out, complimenting each other, not taking the other one for granted, all of this goes a long way in rekindling or keeping the romance alive. Doing new things together, discovering new hobbies together, learning new things together. My husband and I learned swimming this year together and it was so much fun, so you have to also try to find the time to do new things together because that brings you closer. Stealing moments from your day, because our days just completely take over and romance is the last thing that you're thinking about. But finding little hidden pockets of time are also ways of keeping the romance alive. There is this video I made which went viral. I'm putting it up here, which is about how I work from home and my husband works, his office is few minutes away, like 15-20 minutes away. And on days when I'm free between 1 and 2, I take his lunch. Our lunch gets cooked late, so I take the lunch and I drive over to his office, and he comes down to collect the lunch, and then we take 2 chakkars of BKC, which is where he works, and then we discuss how our day is going, etc. And it's so much fun. It's like a mini date in the middle of the day, about 2 to 3 times a week. That's so much more fun. So stealing moments in time, surprising the other person is also romance. But all of this is hard work, and all of this requires effort. I still remember when we moved to Bombay, I was working with this radio station. I was about 33, 34. Again, my husband's office was very close, and we used to travel back and forth from home together. And in the evening, when workday was over and I was supposed to meet him, before leaving work, I would go to the restroom and freshen up my makeup. And there used to be this kid, very young, and she always used to ask me, Deepika, you have to go home with your husband. What is this reapplication of lipstick and all that you're doing? And I used to always tell her, but that's the whole point. I'm meeting my husband, after a full day of, battling it out at work. I'm really looking forward to this, and I would like to do this, and she never could understand. And that's romance for you. So this, according to me, is the most important thing that will, go a long way in keeping your marriage stronger and happier. The second secret sauce is very individual. It has got nothing to do with you as a couple, but it's very individual, and it has got to do with your individual growth, right? So when 2 people meet, they are at a certain time and at a certain space. They like each other. They like talking to each other. You understand each other. You understand each other's world view, opinions, right? But as time passes by, we grow individually at different paces. And by growth, I don't just mean your designation or the amount of money that you make. I mean your personal growth. How you look at the world. Have you learned anything new? What are your opinions like? Have you taken up new challenges? So it's actually how your mind functions. That is the kind of growth. Have you evolved as a person or not? That is the growth I'm talking about. Now, over time, these 2 people who met at a certain time and space and liked each other, if the growth is not, I won't say the same pace, but at a relatively same pace, if one person grows a lot and the other person stays here, then there is a mismatch, right? So it's very important for both individuals to grow, and each of you can have a very different path to growth. It is not always, like I said, about just corporate growth and designation and money. It's about how open you are to new experiences, to new ways of thinking, to learning new things, to accepting changes, to having a growth mindset, to challenging yourself and learning new things, and also having a purpose in life. I think the most important thing is individually what is your purpose in life, and that can really help to make the bond stronger. Because when 2 people who have individual passions and individual purpose and individual goals and something to look forward to, they make a very, very good team together, right? You are also able to talk about interesting things together. You're able to discuss so many things together, because after a point, how much are you going to talk about the children? You can't keep talking about the children and your home. You have to talk about all of that as well. But to keep your conversations juicy and to keep your conversations interesting, you also both have to grow as individuals. That is very, very important. So ask yourself in your journey, in your marriage, am I growing? Am I learning new things? Am I doing new things? Am I, accepting new challenges? Have I got new goals? Am I, an interesting person or not? So that, according to me, is the second most important thing. Secret sauce number 3 is to discuss your work stuff. Now, whether both of you are working or only one of you is working, it doesn't matter. You have to discuss your work stuff, and as the other person, you have to listen to the work stuff. And I think it is so important. Work is such a large part of our life, and to integrate it better, you just have to talk to your partner about it. And as a partner, you have to listen to your spouse's work challenges, because when you talk work, when you discuss work, you begin to understand and empathize with the stresses that your partner is going through. And I'm I'm surprised to see how many couples refrain or don't want to discuss work. They want to keep their spouse away from work challenges. I don't want to burden her, I don't want to burden him. It is not burden, it is teamwork. It's important for your spouse to know what are your achievements, what are your challenges, whether it is the big challenges in terms of where your career is headed, or tiny little challenges in terms of one colleague who is giving you a lot of grief. I think it's very, very important to discuss work. Also, the kind of solutions that your partner can give you is amazing, because your partner knows you really well. Your spouse knows you so well. Your spouse will always have a very, very perceptive solution to your problem. They will be able to figure out what will work for you, what will not work for you, and they will be able to offer. And sometimes it's not even about the solution. Sometimes it's just not even about the solution. You don't want your partner to give you solutions. You just want that one person to listen to you without judging you, and to be able to be your bouncing board. And it is your spouse and it is your partner who has to be that bouncing board. And as a partner, never ever judge your partner, or make fun of your partner's challenges or work problems. Always be there for them. So I think one of the secret sauces, to me this is very, very important. My husband and I talk so much work, I cannot even begin to tell you. So while of course there's romance and there's all that other stuff, but there's also work. I know exactly what is happening in his life. He knows exactly what is happening in my life. I will have help and solutions to offer. He will always have help and solutions to offer. At the back of his mind somewhere, he's also thinking about what can he do to make it better for me in terms of work. So we constantly discuss work, and I've realized, and we both realized, that it has led to immense amounts of teamwork. So discuss work with your spouse openly. As partners, not only discuss work, encourage the other person to discuss work with you. It will also lead to very interesting conversations again, because now you're able to talk about something that is so important in the other person's life, right? So the third secret sauce is always make work a part of your marriage and talk about it deeply, really deeply. And the fourth secret sauce is that your partner is your topmost priority. It is your most important relationship amongst all the relationships that you have. And we have a tendency to think, particularly here in India, that my parents have given birth to me, they have brought me up, so my parents are the most important people in my life. They are important, but I wouldn't say they are the most important, because when you get married, your partner or your spouse becomes your topmost priority. You are responsible for this person. You are responsible for this person's life, their happiness, their growth. You are responsible for creating that little ecosystem where both of you can thrive, and both of you are responsible, right? So it's very, very important to put this particular relationship above any other relationship, and you're not doing disservice to any of your other relationships by doing that. I think we just need to understand that just because your partner, your husband or your wife becomes very, very important to you after marriage, it doesn't mean that you're disrespecting your parents or you are you love them any lesser. You don't. It is just that this one relationship has to be the most important relationship, and once you start treating it like that, you will thrive. You will thrive in your life and your work and your marriage. It will be so happy. So always treat this as the most important relationship. As a corollary, I would also say that every time there are challenges, before talking to third parties, I've seen girls talk to their siblings, their mother, boys talk to friends, and sometimes even siblings and mother. Before doing that, first solve the problem between the two of you. Third party is a very last kind of stage. First try and solve the problem just by talking to each other. It will lead to immense amount of bonding and respect, and the fact that you have decided that you will now solve the problems yourself without going out to a third party. So you will not feel judged, and your partner will also not feel that the problem is with me and they're now running off to talk to their parents or whatever, right? So again, will lead to a lot of bonding. So this is your most important relationship. This is your most important priority, and the two of you now have to build a life together, and the two of you have to thrive in that life together, right? You don't want to just be in a marriage. You want that marriage to be happy. You want that marriage to be successful. You want to grow within that marriage. You want to grow as individuals, right? And all of this will happen when the two of you have each other's backs, and the two of you understand that we are the most important relationship. So when you enter into a marriage, the day you decide that you're marrying this person should become your most important relationship. When you enter into a marriage with that assumption and that baseline, it makes a lot of things easier. It also makes all the problems and challenges that will come, because there will be problems and challenges, right? There will be situations where you will fight. There will be outside situations, some expenses, losing a job, whatever it is, right? All of that will become much more bearable when the two of you work as a team. So this is your most important relationship, and that is the assumption and the baseline with which you should enter that marriage. And trust me, your marriage will just become stronger over time, and you will build a very, very deep bond. So according to me, these are the 4 secret ingredients for marriage. These are very important to us as a couple, and we lived by them, and I think thrived with them. So while I understand this topic again may not be very she means business, but I think, and I keep repeating this at the end of every video, that I'm trying to create content which is in line with my personality, with how I think and how I feel. And I'm hoping that with this content, I will be able to inspire you and enable you to lead a life of impact and to create an impactful presence around you with everybody you engage with and everybody you interact with. So this is Deepika Singh. If you like this video, don't forget to press on like, don't forget to share it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Till next time, bye bye.